The discriminant is really just an important part of the quadratic formula. It's part of the whole. The quadratic formula was negative b, let me move, sorry I couldn't draw on there, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The quadratic formula has this section up here that is under a root, which means that if these numbers here are positive, when you combine these together, if you get a positive number, you're going to take the square root of a positive number, which is going to give you two answers. And depending on whether you add that or subtract that from b, you're going to end up with two possibilities for what x could be. So if your section here under the root, which has its own name, that's the discriminant, if this section here is positive, you're going to get two answers. If this section here is 0, then you're going to be taking the square root of 0 to add to negative b, and the square root of 0 is just 0. So you're not going to get two different answers, you're just going to get one answer. So if this is 0, you get one answer. And then if what's under here ends up being negative, then you're taking the square root of a negative, and there's no such thing. So if you have a negative discriminant, then you're only going to get 0 answers, which isn't very many, because there won't be any real numbers that'll work in there. Now you will get some unreal answers sometimes, which actually does matter later, but it doesn't matter right now. So let's take a look at how these questions here pan out. The only thing we need to do for these is tell how many solutions there will be. So we're just going to take our a, b, and c values and use them in just the discriminant, just this b squared minus 4ac part. So for our first one, we have b squared, that's negative 5 squared, minus 4 times 1 times 3. So we get negative 5 squared. Mark this one so we can tell later. Negative 5 squared is 25, minus 4 times 1 is 4 times 3 is 12. So we get 13. Well, 13 is obviously a positive number, so we have two answers for this one if we were to go clear through the quadratic formula. Now for the second one, we have a is 4, b is negative 4, c is 1. So we have b squared, we have 16 minus 4 times a times c. So we have 16 minus 4 times 4 is just 16. So that's 16 minus 16, that's 0. So we have 0 for our discriminant, which means this one is only going to have one answer if we were to run it clear through the formula. And then for our last one, our a is negative 2. Mark C here, our a is negative 2, our b is 1, and our c is actually negative 4, because we'd have to move it over here in order to have this thing in standard form. So now we have b squared, that's 1, minus 4 times negative 2 times negative 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And negative 8 times negative 4 is positive 32. So now we have 1 minus 32. That's negative 31. That's a negative number. So this one's going to have 0 real answers.